Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our very first annual DSST Elevate Northeast High School orientation. We are so excited for you to be here with us, and we cannot wait to get started. But before we get started, we want to share some information on translation if you are in need of that tonight.
Muy buenas tardes a todos y muchas gracias por participar y atender a nuestro primero evento de la escuela de DSST Elevate. Esta noche vamos a tener interpretación en vivo. Si ustedes necesitan interpretación, por favor marque al 720-902-7700. Esa información también está en el chat, pero también van a tener que poner el número que es 148-550-1701. Gracias.
Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and get started. So before we begin, if you are here live right now, or if you are watching the recording of this orientation, please use the number on the screen to confirm your attendance by texting your child's full name, so your child's name, not your name, to 970-460-6388. So that is if you are in here live with us right now, or if you are watching this video later as a recording, please text this number so that we know you are in attendance. If we can go ahead and drop that into the chat box as well for our families, that would be great. This will let us know that you are here and you've received all of the information tonight. One more thing before we hop into introductions, you will see if you are on a laptop or your phone that there is a questions area for you all to ask questions. We do ask that you watch the entire presentation in case your question is answered throughout this afternoon. And then if you have any questions at the end, we'll have a segment for that. So we are going to kick off with some introductions, and we are going to introduce myself and our front office manager, Miss Amanda Davis. So I am Travonda Favorite. I'm the founding school director of DSST Elevate. Super excited to be here. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I was the founding dean at Knoll Middle School campus, so a lot of you in here have been seeing me for the past 3 years, and you will continue to see me as your students enter high school. If you are new to us, just know that I started at the middle school campus. I'm a graduate of Grambling State University, which is an HBCU down in Louisiana, and I've also obtained my master's degree from Capella University. I've also been in a relay program this year, which is a principal's fellowship, helping me to get ready for you all in our journey together. Now, Miss Amanda Davis, our front office manager.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for orientation. We are so excited that you are here with us. My name is Amanda, and I am the office manager for DSST Elevate Northeast High School. I previously worked for a few elementary schools and DPS in the far Northeast area. I am also a part of the Montbello and Green Valley Ranch community. Some of you may already know me or recognize me from the community or maybe from the Knoll School. I have 3 children. One of them is a junior and he attends Northeast Early College. I have 2 students that attend Knoll campus. One is in 6th grade and one is an 8th grader. That is going to be a part of the founding class that is moving up to Elevate with us. I'm super excited to be here with you guys today, and if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email, and I'll also make sure you guys get that information. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Ms. Davis. We also have some of our founding Elevate teachers that are with us tonight. Because of this live event, we are unable to have everyone share or have their pictures up, but just know that some of our founding teachers are in the building tonight as well, virtually. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our DSST Public Schools mission and vision. This is the mission and vision that we share across our school. So whether you're with us or whether you visit another DSST school, we are all grounded in this one mission. And it reads, DSST Public Schools transforms urban public education by eliminating educational inequity and preparing all students for college or success in college in the 21st century. Also, if you've been to any of our open houses, if you've been at one of our DSST schools, you also know that we are grounded in 6 core values, those being respect, responsibility, courage, curiosity, integrity, and doing your best. These are what ground us each day at school. You might hear your student talk about it at home. We've had parents use this language, but this is what really drives us to be our best selves each day. And although we fall short of them sometimes, we make sure that we get right back to it with the help of one another. So we're going to start off with talking about Elevate Your School Pride. You are going to see me use Elevate in multiple ways because you all helped us choose this name for our high school, and what better way than to use wordplay and use it in everything that we do. So our Bulldogs will elevate by exploring new opportunities and experiences that will shape their futures. They'll build a legacy for years to come. This is our founding class. And by being the best versions of themselves for the good of the larger community. When we say community at Elevate, it is the heart and soul of who we are. We are one big family. On this picture here, you see that we've already started to build this community and family. What you see here is some of our founding teachers in our founding class. We had a virtual lunch recently. This is a silly picture. I promise you this is not who we are all the time, but we got to engage with one another, and some of these teachers are still in other states or other DSST schools, but we thought that it was very important for us to start to build this relationship even before going into next school year. Some other ways that we'll build this community is through advisory, which a lot of you are familiar with, and morning meeting as we enter next school year. One of the biggest things that we'll strive to do and will do is continue to build the DSST tradition of preparing all students for college with a proven model that works. So if you're familiar with the DSST model, we do have a pretty rigorous curriculum, but we are still at 100% success rate, even up into this school year in a virtual setting of students being accepted into four-year colleges and universities, which we are super proud of. So some of our founding class spotlights. Some of you may recognize yourself in this picture, maybe an old teacher, a sibling, a friend, a neighbor. I couldn't be more proud of the students and staff and family members that are in these pictures because they are the reason we are here tonight. They're the reason that we have this high school. We fought and we advocated and we did what we needed to do to make this possible. And so these are the students that will be building the foundation at our high school. And these are the students who know the importance of advocating for what they know is right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about academics. Elevate your academics. So our academic program are just the classes that your students will experience in ninth grade are pretty systematic across ninth grade. They'll get to start experiencing those differences a little bit more in upper grade levels. But in this first year, they can expect to take physics, humanities, which is a blend of social studies and reading, composition, which is a writing course, math, which will be differentiated. So some of our 8th graders are currently in Math 1 honors, which means that they'll be in Math 2 honors next year. And if they're not in Math 1 honors this year, they'll be in Math 1 next year. If you are a new to DSST student, we will give you a placement test during our new student academy to determine which math is best for you. Our students will also begin to take foreign languages. We have Spanish is a foreign language that we'll offer, but 2 levels. So Spanish 1 for students who do not speak Spanish already, but we'll also have Spanish for native speakers so that you are getting a more advanced course. For electives, we thought it was really important to have our freshman year be an exposure year. And what that means is that instead of students choosing one elective to stay in for the entire year, they'll have the opportunity to explore all of our electives as they rotate each trimester. So the 3 electives that we'll have this first year is video production, creative engineering, and an academic elective. This academic elective will be math-based. It's one of the larger gaps that we have seen with the COVID learning loss. And so students will get a blend of some math enrichment or math intervention, as well as financial literacy, which will be super exciting for them to learn how to manage their money. Project-based learning. So some project-based learning that we've seen in our other high schools that we will incorporate over the years at Elevate include things of the arts, so that can be digital arts, performing arts, graphics, entrepreneurship. Some of our campuses have that as a class or an elective, engineering, physical education, and other opportunities to participate in project-based learning. We think that it is really important for students to get their hands on things and learn outside of just sitting at a desk, with textbooks. We'll also continue to have interventions in high school, which all the kids have been asking about, but want to go a little bit deeper into the why. So we have interventions to hold students and ourselves to high expectations behaviorally and academically. Some of the interventions we have blend with academics or behavior or just accountability. So those include college prep, which are primarily based around homework and classwork, refocus, which is our behavior intervention, mandatory tutoring, which provides academic support. Dean interventions is a little bit deeper level refocus, where we spend more time on accountability, and then makeup days. All of our students will receive touchscreen laptops. Our current students are used to this already, but all students are one-to-one with their laptops. It is your responsibility. Take care of it. It is your baby. And if anything happens, there are fees that you would be responsible for. But this is a part of our program and proves to be very successful with student learning. This is a lot. Our students are going into 9th grade, but just so that you have an overview of how high school may look over time for your student, this is a course overview from 9th through 12th grade. Some things that I'll highlight is that you'll notice that in 10th grade, we start to offer some AP courses, and that spans out across senior year. So our students will have an opportunity to take courses that can earn them college credits and save you some money in the long run. I also want to highlight that something that we've been able to do in the hybrid learning space is that students have been able to take classes across campuses. So what that means is, as students get into upper level grades, if there's an AP course, if there's an elective, if there's something that we don't offer at Elevate, students will have the opportunity to join that course at another campus virtually. That has given students tons of opportunities in this virtual space, and we decided to keep that going. So super excited about expanding opportunities for students over the years. Our bell times. I know a lot of you want to know, what time is school? The good news is that we're close. The not so good news is that we don't have concrete times yet. So on the left, you'll see a sample bell schedule. So high schools are mostly around the 8 o'clock range, but it could range honestly anywhere from 8 to 8:20. We'll let you know as soon as we know. And then the end of our day will range anywhere from between 3:15 and 3:30. But just so you know, those are kind of like the time ranges, and then we will still have an early release day. So we haven't had that in the hybrid space. We've had Wednesday be completely virtual, but we will get back to a more traditional schedule next year with an early release day, which is usually 2 hours earlier than our normal release days. But again, as soon as we have this and more concrete information, we will be sending this out to families. All right, next is school culture, which is where we begin to talk about some of the fun stuff and all the questions that you all have. So sports and clubs, second biggest asked question by students every day. Sports that we are looking to have are soccer, boys and girls, volleyball, boys and girls, and basketball, boys and girls. I've said this before, but I really want to iterate that if there's a sport that we do not offer, your student is able to play for their neighborhood school, that being the school that's closest to you in your neighborhood, and still attend Elevate. So we do not want you to think that you cannot attend Elevate because we don't have baseball. You can play baseball somewhere else and still come and receive our academic programming. Clubs, it says loading. Why? We want our clubs to be what students want. So I see students in the hallway and I'm constantly asking, like, what type of clubs do you want? In New Student Academy this summer, we're going to ask, what type of clubs do you want? It's not about what clubs I want to have at Elevate. I want you all to explore things that you're interested in and things that you want to do. And so clubs are a thing that is student-based, and we definitely want to make sure we have their input before we put a list of clubs out. Dress code. If you are a student, I want you to lean in and I want you to listen to this because this is new. So our students are coming from a uniform middle school, and our high schools will not be in uniform, but we will have a dress code guidance. And what that means is it a little bit more freedom? Yes. Can you wear whatever you want? Not quite. And so we're going to go over that in a second, but just want to make sure I touch on cell phones as well. Students should never have a cell phone out in an academic environment. This means when you're in Miss Neer's math class, you should not have your phone out. When you're in Mr. Freedy's English class, you should not see your cell phone. However, when you're at lunch and that is going to be your free time, you will be allowed to have your cell phone. So just want to go over the uniform guidance a little bit. Some of our things are pretty straightforward. T-shirts, sweatshirts, sweaters, blouses, no see-throughs, no spaghetti straps. Your shoulders need to be covered. I will give you some examples of our pants or our bottoms because I think that is where the most questions are going to come up. Your jeans may have small rips with threading, but no holes. I promise I have a picture coming. And joggers must be of non-sweatpants material. I will show you in a second. Your shoes need to be closed-toed, so no sandals, no Crocs, nothing that will be dangerous for you in science labs or anything in case of an emergency, your shoes come off. We need your foot to be fully protected. So here are some of the uniform highlights. I decided to put pictures for the things that could get to be gray areas or confusing. On the left, you see jeans that have rips, but the thread is still present. Very little to no skin is showing. On the right, you see holes. No holes. You may have rips, but no holes. If you have questions, if you're ever in doubt, snap a picture before you come to school because we don't want you to have to call home for new clothes. Joggers. Again, sweatpants of any sort, any athletic pants are not allowed. On the left, you see joggers that are made of pant materials. These are more like khakis, but in jogger form. On the right, you see joggers that look more like sweatpants, something that some of you sleep in. We want to make sure that when you wake up every day, you are up, you are getting dressed, you are coming to your job. As a student, your job is school. And we want to make sure that you are presentable and that you have taken the time to prepare yourself for an academic environment each day. Again, if you have questions, snap a picture, send it, we can approve it or not. But when in doubt, the best thing you can do is just ask an adult. New Student Academy. I put this right here because this is a time, I think I just said a lot about our culture and interventions and all these things that may be new for some of our families. So because of that, we have what's called New Student Academy. This is held June 14th through June 22nd. This is 7 days, and only our new to DSST 9th graders have to attend. The purpose of this time is, one, to orient you to DSST and DSST Elevate, to help you start to build relationships because most of our students are coming from the middle school and have been in advisory together. We also want you to start to build relationships before you join our larger group. And it's also to have fun. New Student Summer Academy is a mix of cultural learning, but also some academics so we can see where you are and make sure that you're prepared to join everyone in August. So there's a ton of support from student to student, from parent to student, from school to families. And we want to make sure we go over some of that with you now. So one of the first things that we do in the year is that we go over our core value pledge. This pledge has some components under each one of our core values, and there's a student pledge as well as a parent pledge. Students, you have a job and an obligation to uphold our core values, and we get very specific, and I'll give you an example. Your job in courage is to take risks and make good decisions. You all are entering high school, you are becoming teenagers, some of you are teenagers already, and we want to make sure that in hard times you're taking risks. Parents, an example for you could be curiosity. Be eager to learn and ask questions to gain a deeper understanding about your child's education and learning. As your students are preparing for college, you may have a ton of questions about that process, or like, what do you need to start doing in their freshman year? We ask that you ask those questions. You're not here alone. We're here as a school to support you in those things, and it is part of your pledge to lean in and ask those questions. You'll see this in your student orientation packet that'll be sent out to you virtually tomorrow. Attendance policy. And so a lot of our students are taken to school by you. They're not at high school driving level just yet. And so we need your support in making sure that your student is at school every day. Our policy is outlined. I'm not going to go through all of it because I know that you're going to be in attendance. Are you going to call or have a doctor's note if you're not? But just know that we have a policy that after a certain amount of days, there are actions that are taken. And so there's warning letters, there's academic or attendance plans, and then if we get to 15, unfortunately, we do have to go into truancy, which we don't necessarily like to do, but we are by law required to do so. And so we want to avoid the 15 days, and we will try to work with you to make sure that we don't get to that point. Academic support. So there's several ways that students will get support from their advisors, as well as you parents will have the support from us to know how your student is doing. So one of those things is that students are going to complete grade reflections each week. Some of them have already started that in middle school, but I cannot express how important it is in high school, because when our students don't pass classes, they don't get credits. And if you don't get credits, then ultimately you will be short for graduation, and that's not something that we can control down the line, and we want to make sure that we have an eye on it each week. Progress reports. These are generated by our internal system, and we will send those out on a regular basis. There's IC. So if you're a DPS parent, or if you're coming from outside of the district, IC is Infinite Campus, and we have a parent portal, and at any time you can log in and see your students' grades, progress, missing work. We have core value grades at the end of every trimester. So again, our core values are the center of everything. So at the end of the trimester, in addition to getting your students' report card, you'll also receive your students' core value grades, which tells you how they're doing upholding our core values. And then there's weekly and trimester awards. So weekly awards usually happen in morning meeting and are based on student performance, as well as our trimester awards, which include things like honor roll, perfect attendance, intervention type awards, and such. Now I'll have Ms. Davis talk a little bit about our parent involvement. She mentioned this parent group. She's actually in this picture. So I'll let her tell you a little bit about how you can be involved in supporting the school as a parent.
Yeah, so this year we're going to have, we call it STP, but it's Science and Tech Parents. It's a parent organization that organizes for fun events and kids and promotes parent involvement. And also we love to have parent volunteers. So all you parents that like to volunteer, we would love for you to sign up when it's that time, so we can get your name and have your have a list going of all of our parents that will be helping us volunteer this year. Okay. And so far, that'll be it as far as our parent groups that we'll have as of right now.
Great, thank you, Ms. Davis. All right, the fun stuff. Everybody wants to know about the building, right? Some of you have taken a ride past the building like, Miss, it just looks like a building or it looks small. This is going to be exciting because I'm going to show you some pictures of the renderings. This is not exactly what the school is going to look like, but it's an idea of what we are working on and building towards. So super excited about this part. If you haven't been paying attention, I advise you to look at the screen now so you can see what's going on with the building. All right, so yes, this is an actual picture of what we're working on. So there's going to be 2 phases, which some of you know. This August, it will not look like this yet. We are working on getting classrooms for this 9th grade class, and the second phase will be the rest of the building. So while we are in the building next year, there will still be tons of construction happening on the other side to make sure the gym is finished, which is this big thing on the left where you see the Bulldog logo. That is going to be the gym. It is going to be outside of the building in its own separate building. But the gym, the field, the full cafeteria will all be done, are projected to be done by August 22. So when you all are in 10th grade is when we're projected to have the entire building done. This space that we are creating is modeled from our other DSST spaces. And by that, I mean classrooms, what we need to function as far as a gym or locker rooms or weight rooms for sports. Just the needs of our campus. We definitely took tons of looks at our other campuses to make sure that we had what we needed. And then as far as transportation, we still will be using the Far Northeast Success Express shuttle. Those bus times are coming. I know a lot of people want to know what time the buses are. Again, we are very close and we're working with the district to find out bus times, bell schedules, all of those things are like happening right now. And again, we'll continue to keep you updated. This is more of an aerial map type view of what campus will look like. On the far left, you'll see there's a huge field in the back. Maybe you didn't pay attention to that when you're just driving by, but that will be a CHASA, which is the Sports League of Colorado. It will be in regulation with soccer field size. There's going to be a one-way traffic flow for drop-off. There's hangout areas. High school will be separate from middle school if and when they move in with us. Tons of parking. That's important to us to make sure that not only staff has adequate parking, but you all have somewhere to park when you come to the school as well. Some of the interior features include some modern finishes with industrial elements. There's going to be some really cool breakout spaces that I'm excited about for high school. So teachers will have the ability to have small group work happen in the hallways. Students can sit there after school if they want to work on homework or have group projects. It's really going to have more of a college independent feel. And of course, students will have to use it as directed or with responsibility, but definitely an element that you have an experience at the middle school level that was important for us to have in the high school. A full cafeteria, art labs, science labs, you name it. I just told you a little bit about the gym. It's going to be more of a standalone building on the side of the school versus being built into the school, which is going to be pretty cool. So here's another map. So this whole thing is DSST Elevate. However, next year, only the colored portion of this graphic is where we'll be. And it'll include 8 classrooms, a commons area, which is where we'll have morning meeting, eating space, admin office, restrooms, tech support. That will be what our 9th grade experience will be together. Again, that is a lot to do by August, and so they will continue to work in the building once we are in there next year. But the space that we will be in will be nice and comfortable. We'll have all of our furniture that we would typically have, and it'll feel nice and cozy. We'll be a nice, close family. So I'll have Ms. Davis at this point share some of our next steps and just kind of recap some of the things I talked about so it's top of mind for you before we get into questions.
Yeah, so next steps. So online registration, which is required for all students. This year we're going to be doing early bird registration, which actually opened up earlier this year. I sent out some communication already to all of our parents. If you have not received it, please send me an email, or you can call the school phone just so I can make sure I have your correct email address on file. Early bird registration is basically registration. This time you're going to do it all online, and if you have multiple students in DPS, you'll be doing the application for all of your students. So that's a good plus to that. Next is New Student Academy, which, just a reminder, is June 14th through the 22nd from 8 to 11:30 a.m. Interventions until noon. Dress code is required, and you don't have to bring any school supplies. We will provide all the school supplies for all the students. And just a reminder, it is at GVR. And first day of school is August 18th from 8 to 12, so it's a half day. The time is subject to change, just note that. But if it does change, we will be sure to send out that communication.
All right, thank you, Ms. Davis. I just want to hit on 2 things again to make sure we're really clear. New Student Academy, those 7 days are only for our new to DSST students. So if you are a current Knoll middle school student, you do not have to attend NSA. NSA is at Green Valley Ranch campus because our campus will still be getting worked on. We will be in there for the first day of school, but in June, they'll still be putting some things together. So we will be at the Green Valley Ranch campus. They have graciously opened up their space for us to use for NSA. The first day of school, as Amanda just mentioned, it is a half day. And the reason for that is because once we have all of our students back together, we'll all need orientation of our new building. our new systems in high school. And while they are not coming to New Student Academy, we do want to spend some intentional time teaching and talking about the differences of high school and that transition from middle school. I think we are on questions, but before we get there, do not forget, if you are here right now, to text this number with your child's full name to confirm your attendance. If you're watching the recording of this, same thing. We want to make sure that you've received all the information that we've given out and that you don't miss anything. Now, question and answers. There are a few questions in the chat box, some in which I've answered, but I do not mind restating those responses. Which sports are going to be available? So we are working to have soccer, basketball, and volleyball this first year. We will only have 9th grade, so most of our games will be with local high schools like JV teams, just as we continue to build our sports program. Again, if there's something that we do not have at Elevate, your student is able to play at their neighborhood school and still attend Elevate for their academics, and we will work with you and help you figure out that, but definitely an option. Recess area. I've been talking to kids a lot about recess. Recess is not necessarily a thing in high school. You have a lunch period, and with your lunch period, you may choose to eat or converse with your friends, but there is not a set time for recess and a set time for lunch. We have a space, a common space in the school for this first year. The cafeteria won't be ready, but there is a space for lunch. There's also some really nice outside spots with tables that students will be able to sit out at and be monitored, of course. Not a ton of play area, if that makes sense, this first year, because again, construction will still be happening. But in year 2, we will definitely have our basketball courts ready, soccer fields, bleachers, and lots of outdoor space. This first year will be a little tight, but we will have some options for our lunch break time. 2 questions about transportation. Again, we will be using the Far Northeast Success Express shuttle. Those times will be coming out a little bit closer to the school year, hopefully before we go out for summer break, but if not, you guys will find out over the summer your exact times for your exact stops. And that is still through DPS. For students joining outside sports that travel throughout the year, how would that work out with high school? So in our other DSST schools, students who participate in sports with other high schools, one, the practices are typically after school, and so are the travel games. If you are traveling with like an outside sports team or a traveling sports team, you can talk to us. I'm not sure if we'll be able to like excuse those days, but we can talk about if you mean like an outside traveling team or another high school, and we'll make arrangements and talk about what that means for attendance. When I went to visit the school, I saw that there was many warehouse workers, and I was wondering about what safety looks like. Yes, for sure. I'm not sure if you mean at our site. If so, they have just started the renovation, so you may have seen a lot of workers at the facility because they're working right now. Outside of that, we are spending a ton of money on safety and security. All of our doors are locked throughout the day, so similar to the middle school campus, no one can get in without buzzing in and being allowed into the building by the front office staff. We will have tight monitoring anytime that students are outside. So during that lunch period, if students are eating outside, dismissal, arrival, we are out there monitoring 15 minutes before school and 15 minutes after. And we want to add something to our registration packet that asks, is your student a walker? If you live close by and if your student has permission to walk, we want to know that because we are in a new location and we want students to be safe. However, it's going to take a partnership between families and the school and letting us know what works best for your family. But like all of our schools, there's no one who can enter our building without being buzzed in or having a badge to get in. And I would assume that if you saw people out there recently, it's because they are now working in the building. I do not know about hybrid learning. I know that is top of mind for everyone, myself included. We have not heard anything about remote or hybrid or fully in person, and I anticipate that that news will be coming here shortly, mostly because that comes from much higher up than DSST, and we have to follow the regulations of the CDE in CDC and what everyone is saying there. But as soon as we know things, we push it out to you all so that we are on the same page. If a student is new and they cannot make all 7 days orientation, is there a consequence? No, there is not a consequence. We understand that families have other arrangements during the summer, so just let us know in advance so we know and we're not bugging you and calling you throughout those 7 days, but there is no consequence. Orientation is mandatory, like we do want students there, but there's not a consequence if you need to miss a day or two or it interferes with something your family may be doing. Yes, students say on campus for lunch. They keep asking about going off campus, but I don't know too many freshmen who can drive, and they will not be leaving campus for lunch. Most of our schools do not do that until junior and senior year, but they do offer some other things. So some of our schools, Conservatory Green, one of our neighboring schools, does Food Truck Fridays, and so there will be other opportunities for students to engage or participate or buy some other food items, but on a day-to-day basis, students are not allowed to leave campus until dismissal. My students are new to the school and don't have a DPS number yet. I was trying to register them, but I cannot. How do I early bird registration? Ms. Davis, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, I will reach out to you. Let me see if I can get your name and on here, and then I will be giving you a phone call right after this is over.
Yep, same thing with the COVID question, similar to the remote and hybrid question. I do not know the answer to that yet. I can tell you that as soon as we get any type of COVID protocols, vaccinations, in-person remote options, we will continue to let you all know. Not only will it be coming from us, it'll be coming as bigger news from the network as a whole and the Department of Education as those things become available. But great question. Will there be classes where we can learn new languages? Yes. So to graduate and to get into most, if not all colleges, you do need credits in foreign language. And so we will have Spanish for our students. And again, if you are a native speaker, meaning if you already read and speak Spanish fluently already, you will not start at the basic Spanish. You will take Spanish for native speakers, where your class is taught a little bit different, but you will still get your foreign language credit. Will food still be provided for students? Yes, we are working on food services currently. We are looking at several options. One option would be the DPS district food, or we've also explored some options with outside food services that we're excited about. But yes, food will still be provided. And based on your FRL or your free or reduced lunch application, it will still be the same whether you have to pay for lunch or receive free lunch. Okay, Ms. Short, the attendance line is not working. But we do have you down. We'll make sure that we have you down for your attendance for Trey. Oh, never mind. See, you have the right number now. My student thinks that Elevate building is just 1 year and they will come back to DSST. No, once you're in Elevate, we are there. That is our building and we will live there and get really cozy. We're going to be there from 9th grade all the way until you graduate. So no, we will not be returning back to DSST. No, once we move into the building next year, we will continue to grow and build in that building. I answered the question about off-campus lunch already. Are there going to be any programs for college classes? Again, not in your freshman year, but as you get to 10th grade and beyond, there's opportunity for AP classes, which are advanced placement classes. And what that means is you'll take this class, and at the end of the course, you'll take a test for that course. And if you pass the test, then you are eligible to earn college credits, which means that you will go into college with credits, and in college, credits equal dollars. And so you will save some money or save your parents some money. We also have a few concurrent enrollment classes. Again, we're doing this really cool thing that started this year where you can take courses across campuses. So there are some campuses in DSST that have concurrent enrollment classes, same idea of like earning those college credits that you will be able to take virtually if we don't have it. But again, those things are in later years and not necessarily this first year. School address, yes, 10825 East 47th Avenue. And when you drive by, we have huge banners that say DSST Elevate, our home of DSST Elevate Northeast, coming soon. Where can we find the recording? Mr. Anderson is answering that question. And if you can publish that one, Mr. Anderson, for families to find it, that would be great. The school supply list will be in the student orientation packet that's coming out tomorrow. So in the packet that's coming out tomorrow, you can flip through. It's going to be pretty lengthy, but in there is the school supply list. So you'll have that tomorrow. Will you follow DPS's calendar for vacation days off coincide with McCullough? That is no. I think that what you'll find is that some of our days will be the same. So like winter breaks are typically the same, Thanksgiving breaks, but DSST or DSST Elevate will have like professional development days or half-day testing days or parent conference days. Those don't always align with DPS, so there will be some days where if you have a DPS student, they may have school and we don't, or vice versa. But you can anticipate that holiday breaks are typically the same. Will students be picking out their schedules? Again, this first school year, not as much because these are pretty basic core classes that all students need to take. But as we begin to explore AP classes, not all students will want to take that. As we get more electives in the future years, your student may decide to stay on the creative engineering track. Another student may decide, I love video production and I want to stay on that track. Those are the classes that students will begin to pick. But there are requirements that they need for graduation. So there's some flexibility, but also requirements for graduation. Will there be AP and IB classes? We do have AP classes. Talk a little bit about that. They will come beginning in 10th grade, and then you'll see much more of them in 11th and 12th. How many new students to 9th grade? How many total students? I think your question is how many new to DSST students, and right now we have about 30 new to DSST students, and then total we'll have 155. Will the rest of the school be finished before their freshman year is over? Probably not. I would say if I had to guess, about 75% of the school. Remember, the projected date for the entire school to be finished will be August 22. So by the start of their 10th grade year, the full building should be complete. But I don't want to say like May 31st of 2022, the building will be finished because there's still like a few months after the projected date. Yes, I did mention that the middle school may be possibly moving there. That could be something that happens in the near future, yes. Yep, same question again. Very good question. Will the college credits be accepted in college? When students take AP courses, yes. When students take concurrent enrollment classes, not always. And so there are a lot of families who hear about concurrent enrollment and students getting associate degrees at some of our other local high schools, but not all colleges will take those credits in place of something. So what happens is students will go to college and have these credits that don't really count for anything. They're just like credits. And still be forced to take a lot of classes. But if a student takes an AP class, it is very likely or more likely that a college will accept that credit. Will community service still be needed? I will get back to you on the community service question. I can almost guess who this question came from. What happens if you are able to drive your freshman year? I will say that I don't know who you are or how old you are, but it's highly unlikely that you can legally drive as a freshman, and we will not offer that opportunity for you to drive to school until at least your junior year. Have you discussed dress code? Yes, I did, and I still have this shared. I don't mind going back a second because I think dress code is one of the most important things. I'll just put that up on the screen and leave it while I talk. The dress code is more of a guidance, pretty straightforward. T-shirts, sweatshirts, sweaters, blouses, nothing see-through, no spaghetti straps. Shoulders need to be covered. The biggest thing that I think is a little bit confusing for some people are the jeans. Students can have rips but not large holes. And the same thing with joggers. We're not doing sweatpants. Students can wear pant material, so kind of like this khaki pant on the side, on the left side, I'm sorry, is acceptable. Those do come in different colors. There's jeans that are joggers. The whole point is that if students wear joggers, they should not be made of sweatpants materials. But happy to make sure that you all are going to get the recording after and have access to it. Happy to talk about it if you all need to discuss it further via phone or email after today. Yep, 2021-22 calendar is available. Please note that schools are given additional days, so there will be some professional development days that are added to the calendar. That is the network calendar, that is not Elevate's calendar. So just anticipate that there will be at least 2 additional PD days for teachers that students will not have school, and we'll communicate those additional days to you. When will you find out who our advisors are? August. When you come on August 18th, that's what that day is about. It's about community building, learning about your advisor, reading a schedule, which our students have used a schedule that everybody follows. We make it as beautiful as color coded, and now students will have to learn how to read the printed schedule from Infinite Campus and learn about that. So that's what that first day is. That's why it's a half day, because there is a lot that you need to learn about being a high schooler. But your advisors, you will find out in August. Probably before the first day, you'll receive a phone call from them, but you won't meet them until you come for the first day of school. Girls cannot wear leggings. So leggings, sweatpants, things like that are not a part of the uniform guidance. You can wear leggings if you have on a skirt underneath, but you cannot wear leggings as pants. Can we choose time for our classes such as the blocks? Again, the schedule's pretty baked out, so everybody will be on a block schedule. You will not follow your homeroom. So if this is a current student and you're thinking about like how you stay with your cohort all day, that will be different. Your cohort will mix throughout the day depending on if you're in a different math or what your needs are. So that'll be something new. Like you can't just follow your homeroom to your next class. You will have to know how to read your schedule. But after this first year, you will begin to have a little bit more autonomy in your schedule as long as you are meeting the requirements that you need for graduation. Question about reduced lunch, the free and reduced lunch application. Ms. Davis, this family is saying that Elevate Northeast was not on the list.
So that lunch application, I also went in just to check that out. It's for the current school year. So we're not going to be listed on there until starting at like after July. So don't worry about completing the lunch application right now. We'll do that in August.
Great, thanks, Ms. Davis. What colleges accept AP classes? That could be a list that goes on forever and ever. I think the easier way to do that is whatever college you're interested in, you should look into if they accept AP credits and which ones, if that makes sense. Because I would literally need to pull up a map or a book with all of the colleges in the United States and let you know. So I would say think about what colleges you're interested in before you start to take AP classes and see if they accept the AP credits that you're thinking about getting into. Oh, love the student questions in the grammar. I'm going to correct it though before I read it. Who are all of the new teachers at the high school? Even if I told you their names, you wouldn't know them. So I will tell you, we do have 2 teachers moving up from the middle school to the high school with us. One being Miss Neer, who is going to continue to teach math honors and that math elective that I talked about. And then we have Mr. Ruby, who is one of our newer science teachers at the middle school, who will be teaching physics and creative engineering. So both of them will be teaching some core classes and some electives. The rest of our teachers are moving from different states, or they're coming to us from different other DSST schools. If you came to our virtual lunch to meet some of them, you met, I think, 2 or 3 of them that joined the call. So you will see. I know you're excited, but I promise it's coming. Are the Spanish classes mandatory? Yes. And they're mandatory not just because I want you to take them, they're mandatory because it is a part of the 240 credits you need to graduate when you're a senior. Also, to get into college, most colleges require that you have credits in foreign language. So yes, it is mandatory. There are very special circumstances where students get waivers, but that is because they need another course in place of that. But it is not an opt-out because you won't be able to meet your requirements without it. Will we be going back 4 days a week or 5? We are planning a typical school year right now. Hopefully that won't change, but a typical school year is 4 full days and 1 early release day. So plan for now for a 5-day week, 4 being regular days and 1 being early release. Is there Spanish translation? I'm not sure if you mean for this recording or this session, but if someone can answer that question for that family or see how we can help them. Online registration is open now, 21-22. Do we do the lunch application or wait until August? Ms. Davis?
So the early bird, which is registration, it is open now, and the lunch application, you're going to wait to do it in August, and that's because right now the current system is set up for this school year right now, the 2021 school year. So it won't add our school until July or August. But I will send out the communication as soon as it's available to put that application in for lunch.
All right. If we have our phone in the hallway, will it be taken like it is in middle school? It sure will. In the hallways, in your classroom, remember, phones are not allowed in any academic spaces. Your phones can be out before school, but just like in middle school, once you enter the building, it needs to be put away. Same thing after school, you can take it out once you cross the door, but the only addition now is lunch. But again, as soon as lunch is over and you're back in the hallway or you're back in the academic environment, it needs to be put away. If we take it, it is going to the front office. Remember, with these privileges also comes some guidance and some structure, and it is going to be great until you make it not great. So if you want to be able to keep your cell phones out and be responsible and be trusted with it, we need you to follow the guidelines, and we'll be quite all right. Why is football not allowed, Naheem? Football is not a sport that any of our DSST schools have. I am happy to connect you with someone. I can tell you from what I know, football is a very expensive sport to have from an insurance standpoint. And so again, you are more than welcome to play at your neighborhood school, and we can help you navigate that and get in touch with them and figure out the process. But none of our DSST schools have tackle football. Is Spanish the only foreign language? Yes, for right now, Spanish is the only foreign language. The last day to register, Ms. Davis.
The last day for the early bird registration is May 21st.
But then that's early bird, right? But then
yes, that's for early bird registration. And then what my goal is to have all of our parents for Elevate to be fully registered within this early bird window, which ends on the 21st. So I'll be sending lots of emails out just to make sure that everyone's completing their registration.
What she's saying nicely is that she's going to bug you and make sure that before you go into summer break that you have it done, not only for us, but for you, to make sure that your student is fully registered. And as we approach school in August, you don't have to worry about that. So it's going to be a good bug.
Yeah.
When can students purchase school spirit gear? All right, so right now we don't have anything for you all to purchase. We do have sweatshirts that our current 8th graders designed and got one of. We do plan to give one to our new to DSST students too, because it is literally our first piece of swag. It has a bulldog on the front and class of 2025 on the back. We also have t-shirts that our current 8th graders will receive at continuation later next month. And then our new to DSST students will get those shirts at New Student Summer Academy. So everyone will have at least one shirt and one sweatshirt that we are giving to you for free. And then once school starts, you all will have the opportunity to, one, request some certain items. We don't have any. So that's the great thing about being a founding class. You can tell us some ideas that you have for spirit wear, and then we'll start having things for sale. Can we sit with anyone at lunch? Love all the questions coming from our current students. Yes, you can sit wherever you want for lunch. That is cool. We will have people on duty just as we do all the time and monitor that, but you are free to sit where you want at lunch unless there are still COVID restrictions where we have to do seating charts and things like that. It will be a little bit different, but if it is a normal school year and things are back to as much normality as possible, you can sit with whoever you want. What is the engineering course about? That is a great question. So we, as a network, are partnering with CU Boulder, and they are doing some really cool stuff with building curriculum for the creative engineering program. And so it's going to be a mix of things from coding to building things. It's going to be, I won't say college level type things, but just know that a college is the one helping us to build this curriculum. They're also going to come and work with us. We're going to have guest speakers from CU Boulder. It's going to be super hands-on. So we're really excited about that as a network, and they're even working with us to make it a trimester program and really customize it for what we need at Elevate. Okay, not going to read that one. Oh, thanks. I want to say thank you to Ms. Favorite and Ms. Davis for the hard work. Thank you. Will softball be an upcoming sport? I don't know who you are, but I love softball myself. I actually played in an adult league. We will not have a softball team, but hear me out. We could start a softball club. And in that club, we can play little scrimmages. We can have like a small intramural league. And so we won't have it, I guess, from a competitive standpoint. I don't know if any of our schools have softball, but definitely on board with having it as a club or just like a recreational type thing after school. When is the weight room going to be finished? So the weight room is going to be part of the gym, and so that'll be complete in August 2022. Will it be a full weight room as soon as August comes? I can't guarantee that, because once the weight room is built, we do have to like purchase the equipment in there. Can we purchase all of the equipment at once? You know, it costs money, so maybe not, but we will have a weight room in our beautiful gym that will be built, so don't worry. Will continuation be in person? Yes, continuation is in person. You all will be receiving more information about that. As of right now, the information I can give you is that it is May 28th between around 4 to 6 p.m. Again, we'll give you more information on that, but yes, it is in person. It'll be outside on the field at the Knoll campus. Will campus be able to buy the hoodies that are already out? What about the Bulldog mask? Yes. You can purchase the hoodies that the students have currently, and we do have both the hoodies and the Bulldog mask at the Knoll campus. So if you want to drop by and buy that, the sweatshirts are $35 and the Bulldog mask are $10. So yes, families are welcome to purchase those. It is free for the students, or the 8th grade students, but the mask and the hoodies are on sale at the middle school. Thankful to be offered a spot. If my number one choice offers me a spot off the wait list, do I technically have until August to decide my final choice? Ms. Davis, can you take that one?
So technically, the school that sent you the offer for the off the waiting list, they normally have like a 48-hour time that they give a parent to say yes or no. So technically, you have like 48 hours to either decline or accept their waitlist offer.
Yeah. And so the reason for that is if you're on the wait list, someone else is behind you, and so they don't want to spend a whole lot of time waiting on someone because they can pass that seat to the next family. And we would do the same thing. 48 hours, if someone's on this call that happens to be on our wait list, if you do come off of the wait list, make sure that you accept pretty quickly, or we have to move on to the next family. Are they going to be allowed to be hugging and kissing with girlfriends or boyfriends? Absolutely not. That is one of the major refocuses in high school, is public display of affection, or PDA. So students will not be hugging and kissing. If that will be an automatic refocus. Yes, hug your friend for a second and move on, but there's not going to be any condoning of that type of behavior with freshmen. Transportation came up again. Again, we'll be using the DPS Success Express shuttle. Will you have a cheer team? we've been debating on that. And let me just say we have about a minute left and about 6 questions. I'm going to try to go fast, but anything that we don't answer, we're going to email you out. We have your name. If you didn't put your name, please retype your question with your name so that we can email you and respond. A cheer team. So we've had some mixed reviews on cheer from our students. We've had a cheer team. The girls like the uniform, but they don't necessarily like the cheer. We've had a lot of interest in step team, which we've had in the first year of our campus and year 2 as well before COVID. And so we really want, again, our activities to be student driven and based. So if our students want cheer, then yes, we'll find a cheer coach and have cheer. Right now, there's been a ton of interest for step. And so we have been focusing on trying to find someone to coach step. That was me at the middle school, but I will not have time as a school director to lead step team, but definitely want to do what students are interested in. So if cheer comes up as a thing, then we'll look into it. Right now, we're looking into a step team. I will follow up with the person who keeps making the comment about driving. Will there be showers for students to take? I would think that there's going to be showers possibly in the locker room, but not just in our normal restrooms, and maybe not even in the locker rooms, but we'll keep you posted as the school continues to get built. Is there going to be a sex education class in high school? So it is not currently one of our courses. However, what we've done here at the middle school is we've had 2 teachers that are really interested in health, and they did a sex education kind of like club or course after school. And so again, if that's something that families have interest in, or students seem to be interested in, we can definitely have a program or like an after school type thing, but it is not a course that is one of our offerings currently. Will PE be a requirement? Yes, PE is a requirement for graduation, at least 1 year of it. And so again, our gym won't be ready this first year, which is why you haven't heard me mention PE as an elective, but students will have to take 1 year of PE before they graduate. Lots of parent support for the PDA. Thank you. What about small holes? Small holes is a subjective thing, right? Because your small holes and my small holes are different. So again, if in doubt, take a picture of it. You can send a picture of it to me this year. You don't have to wait until August, but you can send me an example of what you're talking about, and I'm more than happy to go over that with you and see what we think about the size of holes. But remember, the rule of thumb is that if you have rips, you still want the thread to be across. That is your safest bet. When you start getting into any size holes, you're starting to push it a little bit. All right, so we have reached 6:02. I want to make sure that we are respectful of everyone's time. I apologize for going 2 minutes over. If you have any further questions, again, just type your question. Make sure you include your name so that we know who to contact with the response. We are excited. We can't wait to see you all in person, and stay on the lookout for information about bell times, bus schedules, and all of the things leading up to new student orientation, as well as the first day of school.
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
I just want to make sure that if you haven't already, text the phone number, the 970-460-6388 to confirm your attendance. Please do so now. Thank you.
All right.